There's something about this boy that I can't quite figure out. It's something a little strange about him. Not just that he has long hair, but I can't quite put my finger on why he seems so odd. Hi. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Chapter 2 of The Forgotten Door. And Chapter 2 is entitled, He Gains a Home. So let's quick recap over the first chapter. Remember, we met a boy called Little John, and he was watching a meteorite shower with his friends and family and whoever, and he fell through a door of some sort, and he found himself in a strange place where everything was strange. He got a bump on the head, and so now he lost his memory. He cannot remember anything, and all things are strange. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who he is. He wandered around trying to find help, and he encountered some very nasty people who didn't help him, but they yelled at him. So he was trying to find help, and towards the end of the chapter, he found through his mind reading abilities that there was somebody that was coming across his way who would be friendly to help him. So that's where we pick up in Chapter 2. So this family that is coming by in a truck, there's 4 of them. There's mom and dad, and their names are Thomas and Mary Bean, and they have 2 children, Brooks, a boy, and Sally, a girl. So they see this injured boy on the side of the road, and darkness is coming and everything, so naturally they are concerned, and they stop the truck to go out and see what's wrong and try and help the boy. So they come to him and say, what's wrong, young fella? Is there something, you look like you're hurt. Are you hurt? And of course, remember, John does not know English, but he can read their minds. So he nods. Yes, I'm hurt. So he communicates that way. And the mother says, oh, looks like you're pretty banged up. You're all scraped. Did you have a fall? Yes. So he communicates with them in that way. And so the man says, can you tell us where you live? Because, of course, little John has amnesia. He doesn't know anything about himself. So they take him in the truck. They talk a little bit among themselves, and the mother says, I really don't want to take him to a hospital. They're so impersonal there, and it doesn't look like he's too badly injured. I think all he really needs is some rest and a good hot meal, and he'll be okay. So they take him home, and of course little John is just overwhelmed with gratitude because this family is helping him. So and of course even though on the ride home to this family's house, there's not much talking going on, still they're thinking. And so little John is reading their thoughts, and he knows that the father, Thomas, is thinking, that's a really strange boy. I don't think he's from around here. It's really odd. And then the mother is thinking, there's something about this boy that I can't quite figure out. It's something a little strange about him. Not just that he has long hair, but I can't quite put my finger on why he seems so odd. And then look at his clothes. His clothes, I've never seen anything like that at all. So they get to the house. The house they actually have a small farm that they live on. And then the father is a geologist of sorts. So he has a little rock shop that he sells souvenirs and stuff during the tourist season. So they get to the home, and the father tells the kids, hey, take care of the groceries, take care of the farm animals, and your mom will cook supper while I see what's wrong with the boy. So the kids are grumbling a little about that, but they get to take care of that. So they take him inside the house and put him down on the couch, and so the man is building a fire. Little John takes off his boots and he rolls up his pant legs so Thomas can take a look at his injuries. And so he looks at the leg and the ankle and the knee, and he sees all the bruises and scrapes and everything, but he feels real carefully and he says, well, I don't think there's any broken bones, so that's a good thing. But we got some ointment. We can put some ointment on those scrapes and you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So while this is going on, they hear a truck coming up the driveway. And Little John hears the sound of this truck too, and he starts getting agitated because it turns out that it's the truck of the mean man that he had encountered earlier in the day. So the boy, Brooks, he's standing at the window looking out, and he says, "Hey, Dad, it looks like Mr. Pitts is coming." And then Thomas says, "Oh man, I don't want that guy coming around." And he sees that Little John is getting agitated. "Hey, what's wrong with you? What's the matter?" And then the mom also notices it, and she says, "Did you have trouble with Mr. Pitts earlier today, dear?" And he's like, so they take him out of the living room, put him in the parents' bedroom to, because they don't want Mr. Pitts to see this boy. And so they quick, make it look like nobody's there. But there's one thing that they forgot. They forgot that he took off his boots, so his boots are sitting there. So Mr. Pitts, the mean man, he comes and he, knocks on the door, and they let him in and they talk. And Mr. Pitts says, "Say, did you guys just get home?" "Yeah, we just got home." "Did you see anything weird?" And Thomas says, "Oh, what do you mean?" "I don't know, just anything unusual. There's some really strange stuff going around. By the way, you still got that bloodhound that you used to have?" Now, bloodhound is a dog that is well known for being able to smell the scent of humans, so a lot of times they use it for finding people or finding the trail of people and that kind of stuff. So Mr. Pitts says, "You still got that bloodhound?" And Thomas says, "Nah, I traded him to so-and-so for a cow." "Why do you want a bloodhound?" "Well, Pitts says, "Yeah, I think I should go over to so-and-so and borrow it." "Why do you want a bloodhound?" "Well, might as well tell you, me and Emma," that's the ugly, mean lady, "me and Emma saw this wild boy today. You should have seen him. He was, on my fields, and he was running and jumping like you wouldn't believe." And he says, Thomas says, "Oh, really? A wild boy? Well, what was he doing when you caught him?" And then Mr. Pitts says, "He was trespassing. I got signs up and everything." And then Thomas says, "Wait a minute. You know that nobody pays attention to trespassing signs except in hunting season. Everybody takes shortcuts over, the land. It saves so much time if you do that. Come on." And then Mr. Pitts says, "Well, this is different. I got stuff missing, and we see this wild boy coming around." And then Thomas says, "Well, okay, so you saw a boy. But did you ever stop to think that, maybe the boy was lost? Maybe he was hurt. He could have been one of those Indian kids coming over. He could have been badly hurt, and then think about it. You should have helped him." And Gilby Pitts says, "Oh no, he wasn't hurt. You should have seen him run and jump." And then Thomas says, "Well, maybe you frightened him." And then Gilby Pitts says, "No, I didn't frighten him. He was coming down on my field with the deer." And Thomas says, "What? With the deer?" And then Gilby Pitts says, "Yeah, with the deer, just like he was one of them. And I took a shot at him." And then Thomas is like, what are you doing shooting deer? And Gilby Pitts says, well, they're bothering my field. I got a right to scare them away. And then Thomas says, well, what about the boy? And then Gilby Pitts says, well, you should have seen him. Took off. We grabbed him. Me and Emma grabbed him. And we were trying to talk to him, but he got loose somehow, and he just jumped over a barbed wire fence like it was nothing doing. He's not natural. I don't like unnatural stuff. And so this is going on in the living room. In the meanwhile, Mary is in the bedroom with Little John, putting ointment on his scrapes and all that kind of stuff, taking care of him. And she's like, is that true? Were you with the deer? And Little John was, yep, he sure was. And she's like, you're a really strange boy. I can't figure you out. I wish you could remember your name. And so at that, he's like, John. So he remembered his name finally. And of course, he knows that there's more to his name, but at this point, that's all he can remember. My name is John. So now they know his name. His name is John. And in the meanwhile, Thomas and Gilby Pitts are still talking. And Thomas says, well, I'd be a little careful if I were you. I mean, think about it. If there was some kid from the reservation come over, they always do that in the springtime. They wander all over the place. He comes onto your property and you start, if he had hurt himself, if he was injured or whatever, you should have helped him instead of trying to shoot at him. People could really criticize you for that. Gilby Pitts is like, well, maybe. And then Thomas presses the issue further. Pitts, also, this is not hunting season, and if people know that you were taking pot shots at deer, they might think, well, you're trying to sneak some venison in. Venison is what we call deer meat. And so then Gilby Pitts says, yeah, well, and then Thomas says, I'm just telling you the truth. It could have been one of those Cherokee boys. You should have helped him. And then Gilby Pitts said, no. Me and Emma were talking about this. He's not a Cherokee. I just know that. And it's at this point that he sees the boots, Little John's boots that were forgotten on the side door. So he's like, those are pretty strange boots over there. And at this point, the beans are alarmed. It's like, oh my goodness. But of course, they can't say anything. And then, just like that, Sally, the girl, comes in. Oh my goodness, I forgot my boots here. Look at how muddy they are. My mama's gonna, skin me alive if I don't clean these up. So she just takes the boots and runs off with them like, just like some kind of normal thing. And then she said, oh, Mom, I'm hungry. Is it almost time for supper yet? Kind of thing. So she takes the boots out from under his nose and tries to distract him. So, hopefully he won't think anything odd about the boots. So at this point, Gilby Pitts is like, well, I got to be moving on. Just let me know if you hear of anything odd or strange. And so finally he goes, and then after he leaves, they see his truck go far away. So then they're like, oh, that nosy guy, we wish that he wouldn't come around. And Mary says, do you think he suspects anything? And Thomas is like, nah, I hope not. I hope that, I got him calmed down so he's not going to go blabbing around to the whole neighborhood about whatever. He's probably just nosy. Don't worry about it. And then he tells his daughter, hey, Sally, that was pretty quick thinking, that was a good job that you did. And she says, well, don't you think a good job deserves a reward? So Thomas gives her a dime, the little coin, here you go. And so then she's like, just to show you how, I can be generous too, so I can give as well as receive. And so she gives the coin to John, to Little John. Here you go. This is for you. And then Little John is, looking at the coin. He's looking at it, and he's never seen it before. And And the boy, Brooks, he notices this and he's like, "Gee whiz, guy, what's wrong with you? Haven't you ever seen a dime before?" And then Mary, the mother, says, now, his name is John. And don't forget, he's bumped his head, and right now the only thing that he can remember is his name. So just, lay off. But the boy Brooks says, "Yeah, okay, but he knows English because he understands us talking. So if he knows English, he should know what money is." Because Brooks is thinking, well, if you know the language, then you should know the concepts of the language. But don't forget, little John doesn't know English. He's kind of learning English. And English is strange to him because it has ideas that are strange to him. And the idea of money is strange to him. And Brooks doesn't understand this. "Don't you know what money is, John?" So then Mary says, all right. That's enough questions for the day. He's had a rough day. Let's have supper. And tomorrow's Sunday, and you can talk to him all you want then. Just kind of let him relax and everything. So they go and they have supper, and supper is, supper is scrambled eggs and home canned vegetables, because they live on a farm, so they make their own vegetables, baked ham, and fried chicken. And so, of course, little John hasn't eaten for who knows how long, so he eats as much as he can, but he doesn't touch the meat. He doesn't touch any ham, and he doesn't touch any fried chicken. But everything else is just fine. So by this time, okay, he's at a place where he can finally relax. His wounds are taken care of. His stomach is full. He's had a long, rough day, so naturally he starts to fall asleep during supper, so they put him to bed. And that is the end of chapter 2. Okay, so I hope you liked that. Next episode is chapter 3. Chapter 3 is He Learns a New Language. So we'll cover that next time, chapter 3 of The Forgotten Door. I hope you like this video. I hope it helps you. And don't forget to give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. And we'll cover the next chapter in the next episode. Bye.